Intermittent fasting daily is a craze right now. I'll even put ketosis into that craze. This is a really important message for you, honestly, because many women, they start into doing intermittent fasting and sometimes it's working in the beginning and stops working. I have an answer. Or it doesn't work at all. I have an answer. Matter of fact, I have two answers. But men, if you stumbled upon this, despite the title, there's an answer for you too, because it could happen to men as well. But honestly, there are two major reasons why this happens. I'm a believer in intermittent fasting for women. I visited one of the last hunting gathering tribes in the world, and there were women that were intermittent fasting. This tribe ate one big meal a day, and most of their day was obviously fasting. So it does work. However, in this country or a modern country, I will say that women, there are some issues that you need to pay attention to. All right, I said there was two reasons. Let's start with one. I had a conversation. I was at a hospital with my son getting some x-rays done. He broke his back, long story. But I had an amazing conversation with women who actually knew my material as well as Dr. Fung's. And they were talking and my wife pulled me into the conversation. But in brief, it went like this. You know, fasting changed my life. I lost 50 pounds, one woman said. Another woman didn't lose weight. Okay, so what was the reason? What happened? Why isn't it working for me anymore? And I said, well, it's simple. Because it worked in the beginning and your body was digging into all these fat stores and you hormonally optimized due to the daily intermittent fasting. And well, she was doing some longer fasts as well. But what happened is that the body started digging into the visceral fat. That's the deep fat where most of your toxins are actually stored. And she started to release toxins. Those toxins started circulating around her body, making their way to her other cells. That's where your hormone receptors are. And it blocks those receptors, thereby creating a hormone resistance. That means your cells don't hear the hormones. For you, that means you stop losing weight. That means like thyroid hormone that has to get its message in the cell so you can use fat as energy and keep becoming thinner, right? Losing weight. That doesn't happen anymore. So that could be one of the reasons why you stopped losing weight with fasting, or in fact, just feel bad because when the toxins start circulating, you don't feel good at all. Okay, what if you're also one of the people who it's not working at all? Well, that could be a toxic reason right from the beginning because you're very toxic and your cells are so inflamed that you're not hearing your hormones. Cellular detox. You'll have to watch some of my other videos on that of what I mean by that. But real detox isn't a colon cleanse. Real detox has to be at the cell in getting the cell to do what it's really meant to do every day, and that's get rid of toxins. All right, that's reason number one. Reason number two, and there's a solution here that you can start right now to break through. This solution is you're doing fasting. However, your body can start to think it's starving and it wants to hold on to your fat. And that's not a good thing. How do you break through? You need more feast days. Whether it's weekly or monthly, you need more times of feasting. Something I talk about is feast famine. When you look at ancient cultures like I visited, they feast famine. There's times where they don't have food. There's times where they have a lot of food. But what we know now in modern times is feast famine works better than low-fat diets, high-fat diets, keto diets, paleo diets. There's groups that actually studied all this. And you know what won out the most? Feast famine, even weekly. So if they cut someone's calories down to 500 calories in one day, the next day, normal calories. Next day, 500 calories, normal calories. That worked better than any diet. I interviewed one of the scientists, Kristen Verde. I said, why is that? What is your theory? She said, my theory is that the feast famine, like exercise, forces the body to adapt. And how does it adapt? It optimizes its hormones. The reason you can't lose weight, hormones, but it's a cellular issue. So the fact of the matter is again, okay, you have to get your cells, detoxed, no doubt, to hear hormones. But how do we break through? We emulate what ancient cultures do. Feast famine. So try it. It works. I call it diet variation, feast famine cycles. I dedicated a whole chapter, 2 chapters in my book to this because, ladies, listen, there's another little trick. I'm going to give you one more trick, monthly variation. Do you ever get cravings right before your period? Yeah, your body knows what it's doing. you need higher glucose and insulin to make certain hormone conversions. So how do you optimize your hormones monthly? Well, you give in to it. So 5 days before, it could be during if that's when you get more of your cravings, right before your period, you increase your healthy carbs. So yes, give in to the carbs. That's when you do it. Then the rest of the month, you can actually go keto again or low carb or more intermittent fasting daily, whatever it is. But the point is these times of feasting are as important as the fast. So those of you who are fasting weekly, add some feast days in. Some people, even 1 makes a difference. Some people 2, some people 3. But if you have fasting days, throw feasting days in there. I'm telling you, it works. And monthly, add 5 feast days in a month before your period, ladies. Watch what happens. And I have other tricks when you go to my book. And by the way, you can order my book at beyondfastingbook.com. Listen, my goal is always the same, to bring you what's real and what works, and of course, what's safe. So stay tuned for more videos.